better-looking audience, I offer these 3 observations. Number 1, the McCain-Palin ticket has mastered the embarrassing science of misquoting historical figures. Number 2, Sarah Palin has folksy warmth, and that folksy warmth is winky and seemingly rehearsed. Also, number 3, Sarah Palin either does not know or does not care about always getting stuff right. First, let's talk about this misquoting business. Governor Palin finished up the debate with what I thought was perhaps her strongest, most emotionally effective, most eloquent moment of the night.
It was Ronald Reagan who said that freedom is always just one generation away from extinction. We don't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. We have to fight for it and protect it and then hand it to them so that they shall do the same, or we're going to find ourselves spending our sunset years telling our children and our children's children about a time in America back in the day when men and women were free.
The threat to freedom Ronald Reagan was talking about was not national defense or some competing ideology seeking global dominance. Reagan was predicting what would happen in the 1960s if we got Medicare.
And at the moment, the key issue is we do not want socialized medicine. This program, I promise you, will pass just as surely as the sun will come up tomorrow. And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country. Until, one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Before Medicare. I have to admit, I am slightly less moved by the Reagan quote now that I know it was supposed to make me fear the idea of old people getting health care. Does Sarah Palin agree? The same thing happened, actually, with what was one of her most effective lines in her nominating speech from St. Paul.
And a writer observed, "We grow good people in our small towns with honesty and sincerity and dignity." And I know just the kind of people that writer had in mind.
That's a neat quote, right? I love that quote. The issue is that the writer who said that was a man named Westbrook Pegler. Westbrook Pegler was an American pseudo-fascist who called for the assassination of both FDR and Robert Kennedy. He was a right-wing columnist so extreme, he was kicked out of the John Birch Society for alleged anti-Semitism. Now wait, I'm on a roll here. Do you want another? In her recent interview with Katie Couric, in a rambling non-response to a question about the separation of church and state, Governor Palin brought up a folksy quote from a guy who wrote that old Constitution thingy back in the olden days.
Thomas Jefferson also said, "Never underestimate the wisdom of the people."
I admittedly do not know every word ever spoken by Thomas Jefferson, but I don't think he's on record ever saying that regarding the separation of church and state or on any other topic. In Palin's defense, somebody famous once said something almost like that. It was H.L. Mencken who said, "Nobody ever went broke underestimating the taste of the American public." We contacted the McCain campaign today to ask what Palin was talking about with the supposed Jefferson quote. They said they will get back to us. I don't mean to belabor this point here, but when you found a pattern, you sometimes start to wonder how far it goes. So can I bring John McCain in on this too? At the debate last Friday, McCain described 2 letters authored by General Eisenhower the night before the Normandy invasion. As McCain told it, one letter was authored in the event that the D-Day invasion was a success. The other?
And he wrote out another letter, and that was a letter of resignation from the United States Army for the failure of the landings at Normandy.
The other, a letter of resignation from the Army in case it had failed, taking full responsibility.
Except, according to the National Archives, that's not true. Eisenhower did scribble a second note taking full blame in the event the effort failed, but he never mentioned resigning. Maybe John McCain should try blinding audiences with darn rights and doggone it, so we media elites don't examine the facts behind his charming historical anecdotes.
Just everyday American people, Joe Sixpack, hockey moms across the nation. I may not answer the questions the way that either the moderator or you want to hear. Darn right, it was the predator lenders. Oh man, it's so obvious that I'm a Washington outsider, and Someone just not used to the way you guys operate. Bless their hearts, they're doing what they need to do as corporate CEOs, but they're not my biggest fans. The chant is, drill, baby, drill. Say it ain't so, Joe, there you go again. We have an opportunity to learn a heck of a lot of good lessons through this. Now, doggone it, here's a shout out to all those third graders at Gladyswood Elementary School. You get extra credit for watching this debate. And I'll betcha.
Governor Palin's folksiness last night brings us to my second debate observation. The aw shucksiness sometimes doesn't ring true. And for political purposes, for us assessing Governor Palin's skills as a politician, that aw shucksiness really needs to ring true. Consider the moment after Joe Biden choked up at the memory of losing his wife and a child in a car accident in which his sons were also critically injured. The reaction from folksy Governor Palin from up there in Alaska? Check it out.
The notion that somehow, because I'm a man, I don't know what it's like to raise two kids alone. I don't know what it's like to have a child you're not sure is going to make it. I understand, as well as, with all due respect, the governor or anybody else, what it's like for those people sitting around that kitchen table. And guess what? They're looking for help. They're looking for help. They're not looking for more of the same.
Governor.
People aren't looking for more of the same. They are looking for change. And John McCain has been the consummate maverick in the Senate over all these years.
I'm sorry, but that moment spoils every other attempt to make me believe all the aw shucks, I'm just a regular nice lady business. The political importance of folksiness, it's not just style. It's supposed to be a measure of authenticity, of real human connectedness and sensitivity. One harsh show of callousness can undo many hours under the lights saying doggone. Which brings me to observation number 3. Governor Palin either does not have accurate information a lot of the time, or she doesn't care about it. Examples? She got the number of troops in Iraq wrong. She called the top general in Afghanistan McClellan and misstated General McKiernan's position on an Afghanistan surge. She claimed Barack Obama voted to raise taxes on families making only $42,000 a year. She claimed Obama voted against troop funding. She said McCain wants to let bankruptcy judges rewrite mortgages. He does not. Neither does she. The campaign did have to correct that one today.